I received a call from one of our neonatal units that's about 70 miles remote from our hospital that they were concerned about a newborn that had an abnormal x-ray. So I said, that's great, go ahead and upload it onto Nuance PowerShare and I'll have our radiologist take a look at it. And I was actually en route to another hospital. I looked at it on my iPhone. The radiologist looked and said, this is a little abnormal. I think we should get an upper GI series. And I talked to the radiologist at the outlying facility and he felt very comfortable doing the study. And we asked, as soon as the study's done, upload the pictures onto Nuance PowerShare so we can review them. Once the films were up on Nuance PowerShare, the radiologist at the outlying hospital, the neonatologist at the outlying hospital, myself, who was actually traveling, and our radiologist, all were looking at the film simultaneously and identified that the baby had a life-threatening condition called malrotation with volvulus, where the bowels twist on themselves, and time is of absolute importance in this. That if the bowel isn't untwisted, that all the bowel dies and usually the child dies. So next we were able to get on the phone with our neonatologist here, who also was looking at the images. So at one point we had about 6 or 7 different doctors at 4 different sites, all looking at baby Christian's films at the same time. And because of that, we were able to send the helicopter and bring baby Christian directly to the operating room. We didn't go to an emergency room here, we didn't go to an ER, we didn't go to the neonatal unit because we knew what our diagnosis was, we knew what we would do. So we took the child straight from the helicopter to the operating room and were able to untwist his bowel, had an absolutely fantastic outcome. And the moral story, the parents were just ecstatic. Of course, their child did better. But also for us, we were able to provide great care and also to know that we were there for that other hospital. And that other hospital knows that we're there for them and able to just work with this collegial relationship with them. The concern is if you don't have the images to look at, that one is if you're not readily available, it's so easy to just be able to call a doctor and say, hey, can you look at these films for me? And just pull them up on your iPhone. It's not like, hey, we have to put this baby in an ambulance, transfer him 70 miles across the state. So I think it would have delayed his care. It would have delayed his care until the next x-ray. We wouldn't have been able to review the next x-ray. We have a non-pediatric radiologist doing children's radiology without real good backup. So I think in this case, especially, it didn't delay the care. It really expedited his care. And we've done this with several cases with this hospital now where they feel very comfortable calling us. And like I said earlier, a lot of cases don't need to come. We look and say, hey, this is nothing to worry about. Reassure the family, tell them the doctor, the chief of peds radiology, the chief of pediatric surgery have reviewed this, and we're absolutely comfortable and you're doing the absolute right thing. Thanks, let us know how we can help you. So it goes both ways. It can, again, it's not always safe to put someone in a helicopter or an ambulance and move a sick baby. So if they don't need to, we've also been able to avoid that. The first time we actually had a pretty unique situation as there was a bad accident over on the coast, which is about 70 miles from our institution, level 2 trauma center that doesn't do children. And because of weather, all 3 children went to that hospital and we were able to upload all 3 children's x-rays and triage who should come. And one child we put in an ambulance and brought by ground. One we stabilized and kept on the ground there till the weather cleared and we could fly the child. And actually the third one we spoke with the surgeon who was able to perform the surgery at that institution and then transfer the child to us post-operatively. So it allowed us to care for 3 children at once, to develop great relationships with this outlying hospital that's one of our big referral bases, and really build a good camaraderie amongst the doctors.
We had a patient that we were referring to a rural clinic in Eufaula, which is hours away from here. And even though we had burned the disc, tested the disc, got it ready for them, by the time they took that disc to the physician, who of course only goes there 1 day a week, they show up and the disc doesn't work. And of course the patient is, it adds to stress to the patient. They were upset because they were seeing a doctor because there was something wrong with them. And here it is, their images aren't there. We didn't have any way to get it to them. So we had to burn another disc, get a courier, have it couriered down there. And of course, 2 hours, you have to get all this, if you're driving 2 hours, you have to get all this done very quickly because it's only there 1 day. You got to get there, you got to get back. And of course, you also are going to have to do whatever you can to keep that patient from being too angry because of all the time and trouble it took them to get there. And we're here about taking care of the patient, and we don't like patients no matter what. So and we did get it to them, and it worked out fine, that's true. But now if I had had it happen again, I would just call the doctor and say, don't you have the internet? And I would get his email address, set him up, and those images would be there in 15, 20 minutes. It wouldn't be end of the day, and this patient's sitting there waiting for hours before their images could get there. So it really takes a lot of stress out of taking care of what needs to get done and making sure that that the work you do is taken care of and getting there, and it's all completed, and nobody's going to call back and it's not here, it's not working.
We did have one instance recently where on the fly I received a telephone call in my office needing images on a patient from the state of Connecticut. The patient was actually traveling through Alabama and needed medical attention. We needed the priors. The patient had an extensive medical history there. So I picked up the phone, found the right person at the hospital in Connecticut, and within 30-45 minutes we had all the priors that we needed in order to treat the patient more effectively. Prior to PowerShare, in order to get the images from Connecticut, we would have had to send a release, have CDs burned, have them either FedEx or UPS through the mail, hoping on a prayer that they wound up at the right location here at Children's and that the appropriate people there burned the correct discs and they weren't damaged in transit, and there would have been days wait. Obviously, if physicians are wanting images now, they're critical. They don't need to wait 2 or 3 days before they're viewable. So, prior to PowerShare, basically they would have made treatment decisions based on the textual report. That would be the only thing, and we would have gotten it through fax. So now that we can receive the images electronically, they can make a full, confident treatment on the patient.